Let me tell you something, ladies. You ever notice how some men only show who they really are when you stop talking? That's right. When you go quiet, when you stop chasing, when you stop trying to force their attention, their true colors come out. You see, a man who really cares, a man who's genuinely invested in you, he's going to feel that silence. He's going to reach out. He's going to make an effort. But the man who isn't serious, he's going to act differently. He's going to get uncomfortable. He might try to manipulate you, guilt you, or maybe even ignore you completely. And that's when you need to sit back and watch. Because silence is like a mirror. It shows you exactly what's real and what's fake. Ladies, don't be afraid to step back. Don't be afraid to pause. Stop over-explaining yourself. Stop bending over backward. The moment you go silent, you give him a chance to show you who he really is, not who he says he is. And trust me, that's when, if he's worth your time or just wasting it. Let me tell you something, ladies, because too many of you out here chasing men, talking too much, over-explaining, and bending over backward just to get attention. Let me remind you of something powerful. Sometimes the loudest voice in the room isn't the one that tells you the truth. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words ever could. And when you go silent, that's when a man's true feelings are exposed. Now, I'm not talking about you being cold or cruel. I'm talking about giving yourself the space to see him clearly. See, a man who truly cares, a man who's genuinely invested in you, he's going to feel that silence. He's going to notice that you're not available to him in the way you used to be, and he's going to step up. He's going to make an effort without you asking, without you begging. That's the kind of man who values you. But here's the thing. When you stop over-communicating, when you stop chasing, when you stop giving energy to someone who doesn't deserve it, some men get uncomfortable. And that discomfort, that's the real test. That's when their true feelings come to light. A man who isn't serious, a man who isn't committed, he's going to act differently. He might start ignoring you, withdrawing, or even acting irritated. Some will try to manipulate you, guilt you, or make you feel like you're the one in the wrong just because you chose to step back. That's when you realize his actions speak louder than any promises he's made. His words don't mean a thing if they're not matched with the effort and consistency you deserve. You see, silence is like holding up a mirror. It reflects the truth. And in that mirror, you'll see whether he's really the man he says he is. You'll see whether he's willing to fight for you or whether he's just enjoying the attention while he keeps his options open. Ladies, stop being afraid of stepping back. Stop being afraid to pause. Stop being afraid to let him show his hand, because the moment you stop filling the space with your words, the truth comes out. That's when you know if he's serious or if he's just a distraction. I've got to tell you, your silence isn't a weakness. It's a kind of power that most people don't understand. The moment you stop overextending yourself, stop explaining yourself, stop proving your worth, you begin to see people as they really are. And sometimes that truth hurts. Sometimes you'll see that he wasn't worth the time, the energy, the heart you gave him. But you also learn something very important. Your value isn't dependent on his attention or validation. Your worth is fixed. Your worth doesn't change because a man chooses to see it or not. Ladies, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying to be cold or unkind. I'm saying to take a step back, breathe, and allow silence to do its work. Observe his reactions. Watch how he behaves. Watch if he reaches out without prompting, if he puts effort into communication, if he shows respect and consistency. That's when his true feelings come through. And sometimes you'll be surprised. Sometimes The man you thought didn't care will step up in ways you never imagined. But sometimes you'll also see clearly who he really is. And that's a blessing too. Because now you can make choices with eyes wide open, not clouded by constant noise or chasing. Silence gives clarity. Silence exposes intentions. Silence separates the serious from the casual, the committed from the distracted, the ones who value you from the ones who just like the idea of you. So embrace it. Don't fear it. Because when you go silent, you're not losing power, you're gaining insight. And that insight is priceless. Ladies, let me be real with you. A lot of times, we're so busy talking, explaining, texting, calling, and trying to make sure a man knows how we feel that we forget something. Extremely important. Sometimes the best way to find out how a man truly feels about you is to go quiet. I'm talking about silence, not ignoring, not playing games, but giving yourself a moment to step back and just observe. You see, women, when you go silent, when you stop chasing, when you stop trying to force his attention, the truth comes out. The truth about his heart, the truth about his intentions, the truth about what he's really thinking when no one is pushing him or questioning him. Now, let me tell you something that a lot of women don't realize. Men are creatures of action. Words are easy for some, but actions, that's where the truth lives. And when you stop filling his world with your words, your effort, your constant attention, he has to act or he doesn't. A man who genuinely cares about you, a man who sees you as a priority, he's going to notice that change immediately. He's going to reach out, check on you, and show effort without being prompted. Because when you go silent, you're not punishing him. You're giving him a chance to show the real him. And that's the man you need to pay attention to. The one who steps up when the spotlight is off. But some men, let me tell you, they can't handle silence. They get uncomfortable. And that discomfort exposes what's really going on in their hearts. Some will try to guilt you. Some will try to charm you with excuses. And some will simply withdraw and show that they weren't really invested in the first place. And ladies, that's the reality check you need. The silence doesn't change who he is. It just shows you, and that is more valuable than any long conversation or debate you could have with him. You get to see the truth. You get to see whether he's serious or just passing time. I've seen women lose themselves in relationships thinking that constant talking, constant reassurance, constant effort will make a man care. And I'm here to tell you, that's not how it works. You don't make a man care by chasing him. You see, a man who is genuinely into you will care regardless. But when you stop chasing, when you give him the space to react, you'll start to notice patterns. You'll notice if he respects your time, your feelings, and your presence. You'll notice if he makes an effort or if he disappears. And that, ladies, is worth more than all the promises in the world. Your silence is not a punishment. It's not a game. It's a lens through which you see truth. And let me tell you, nothing reveals a man's heart faster than that. When you step back, when you pause, when you stop over-explaining yourself, you're not just testing him, you're protecting yourself. You're honoring your worth. Because a man who truly values you will respond. He will step up and he will show consistency, not just words. And the ones who don't, well, that's how you learn who is really worth your time and who isn't. So remember, ladies, silence is powerful. It exposes the truth. It separates the genuine from the fake, the committed from the distracted, the serious from the casual. And in that quiet, you'll see everything you need to know about him. Sometimes that truth is exactly what you've been waiting for. And sometimes it hurts, but either way, it sets you free. Because when you go silent, you give yourself clarity, and clarity is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to your heart. Ladies, let me break it down for you. Because so many of you are out here over talking, over explaining, and giving more energy than you should to men who don't even notice. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is silence. That's right, silence. When you stop texting, stop calling, stop overcompensating, you're not being petty, you're being wise. You're giving yourself a chance to see what's real and what's fake. You're giving him a moment to show you who he really is. And trust me, ladies, his true feelings don't hide for long. They come out when you step back. Now, I've seen it countless times. A woman goes quiet for a little while, and suddenly the man acts differently. Some get nervous. Some get frustrated. Some try to talk their way out of the truth. And that's exactly when you learn everything you need to know. The man who is serious about you will feel the silence and respond. He'll reach out. He'll check in. He'll make sure you know he cares without you having to tell him how to. But the man who isn't serious, he will crumble. He will get uncomfortable. He might act indifferent. Or he might even try to manipulate the situation to make it seem like you're the problem. And ladies, that's your window into his heart. That's your real education on who he is. Let me tell you, some women are scared to go silent because they think it's mean. No, it's not mean. It's necessary. It's a filter. It's like shaking a jar of sand. What sinks to the bottom shows what's heavy and real, and what floats on top is just empty. When you stop over-explaining yourself, stop chasing, stop being the first to say, I miss you, or are we okay? You give a man the chance to show his hand. And in that moment, you see clearly whether he's serious, whether he values you, whether he respects your time and effort, or whether he's just here for convenience. Here's the truth, ladies. Men are creatures of action. Words are cheap. Anyone can say, I love you, but it's the actions, the effort, the consistency that show what's really in a man's heart. And when you go silent, you force him to act or he doesn't. And the way he reacts tells you everything. Some women have stayed in relationships for years thinking the man loves them just because he talks a good game. But silence exposes reality. Silence exposes commitment. Silence exposes who's in it for real and who's just passing time. And don't get it twisted. Your silence is not a punishment. It's empowerment. It's you valuing yourself, setting boundaries, and demanding respect without saying a word. The man who is meant to be with you will show up. He'll make effort. He'll prioritize you without being asked. But the ones who don't, that's your freedom. That's your clarity. That's your opportunity to walk away from people who don't deserve your heart. So embrace silence, ladies. Don't fear it. Don't feel guilty for it. When you go quiet, you're not losing power. You're gaining insight. Insight into a man's heart. Insight into his intentions. And insight into your own worth. And let me tell you, the truth is a gift. It might sting at first, but it will save you years of heartache and confusion. Because when you go silent, the noise disappears and the real story comes out. And that story, that's worth more than all the words in the world. Ladies, let me tell you something that too many of you need to hear. We live in a world where women are always taught to explain themselves, chase love, and keep the conversation going. But sometimes the smartest move you can make is to do the opposite. Sometimes the loudest way to speak is to go silent. When you stop texting, stop calling, stop trying to convince a man of your worth, that's when you really see what's going on. That's when a man's true feelings are exposed. And I promise you, ladies, The truth doesn't hide forever. I've watched it happen countless times. A woman steps back, stops chasing, stops being available on demand, and suddenly the man starts acting differently. Some will panic. Some will try to justify themselves. Some will even get angry. And in that anger, you'll see who they really are. The man who cares about you, the man who truly values you, he's going to feel that silence. He's going to notice the space you've created. He's going to reach out without you prompting him. That's the kind of man who's serious, the kind of man who's worth your attention. But here's the thing. Not every man can handle silence. Some men get uncomfortable, and that discomfort shows their real intentions. They might start ignoring you, or they might try to make you feel guilty for not constantly giving them attention. Some will even try to manipulate the situation to make you feel like you're the one at fault. And that's the moment of clarity, ladies. That's when the mask comes off. That's when you see who's real and who's not. And once you see it, you can finally make a decision without being clouded by your own overthinking or the noise of constant communication. I need you to understand something very important. Silence is not punishment. Silence is power. Silence is protection. When you stop over-explaining yourself, stop trying to get reassurance, stop bending over backward, you're not being petty. You're filtering your life to make room for the people who actually deserve to be there. And the reactions you get will tell you everything. A man who is serious about you will make an effort. He will reach out. He will show consistency. The ones who aren't serious will drift away, and that's okay. That's exactly what you needed to know. Women, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you to be cold, to play games, or to punish someone. I'm telling you to value yourself. I'm telling you to see the truth without distractions. When you stop chasing, when you stop explaining, when you step back, you give a man the opportunity to show his real heart, and that is priceless. It's the kind of clarity that saves you years of frustration and heartbreak. Because too many women have stayed in situations where they were overgiving, over-explaining, over-loving, only to realize too late that the man was never really serious. Silence changes that. It's amazing how quiet can be louder than words, how stepping back can show the truth faster than months of talking and arguing. And let me tell you, when you see the truth, it sets you free. You can finally decide who deserves your heart and who doesn't. You can finally stop wasting energy on empty promises. You can finally focus on yourself, your happiness, and the people who actually show up for you. Silence exposes intentions, separates the genuine from the fake, and shows you who is worth your time. And in this world, clarity is everything. Ladies, I need you to hear me, because so many of you are out here giving too much, explaining too much, and chasing too hard, and it's keeping you from seeing the truth. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Sometimes the loudest statement you can make is silence. That's right, silence. When you go quiet, when you stop texting, stop calling, stop over-explaining, the real story comes out. And let me tell you, ladies, men reveal themselves when you stop talking. That's when their true feelings show, and their intentions can no longer hide behind words. I've watched it happen a million times. A woman stops overextending herself, stops being constantly available, and suddenly everything changes. Some men panic. Some get nervous. Some will even start giving excuses, trying to charm their way out of the truth. And in that reaction, you see who they really are. The man who genuinely cares about you, who sees your worth, he's going to feel the silence. He's going to notice your absence, and he's going to step up without being prompted. That's the man worth your time. That's the man who values consistency, effort, and real commitment. But not every man can handle that. Some men get uncomfortable, and that discomfort exposes them. They may withdraw. They may try to make you feel guilty for not being communicative enough. Some may even act irritated or manipulative, testing to see if you'll chase again. And that, ladies, is exactly what you need to see. That's the truth coming out. That's the real him. The moment of silence is like holding a mirror up to his heart, showing you everything you need to know. You don't have to guess, overthink, or make excuses for him. Silence reveals it all. Your silence is not cruelty, and it's not a game. It's empowerment. It's self-respect. When you step back and stop explaining yourself, stop proving your worth, and stop chasing a man who doesn't prioritize you, you're protecting yourself. You're showing that your time, energy, and heart are valuable. And the reactions you get will tell you everything. The man who is serious will reach out. He will make the effort. He will show consistency without being asked. But the ones who aren't serious, they will fade. And that's okay. That's clarity. That's freedom. Let me be real with you. Women have stayed in relationships for years, thinking they had someone who cared, only to realize too late that the man was never serious. Silence exposes the difference between someone who is genuinely invested and someone who is just playing a part. The man who truly values you will act. The one who doesn't will reveal himself. And once you see that, you are free to make choices with eyes wide open. You no longer have to settle for half-hearted attention or empty promises. It's amazing how stepping back, doing nothing, and just observing can teach you more than all the words, all the arguments, and all the efforts combined. Silence separates the committed from the casual, the genuine from the fake, and the serious from the distracted. It's not about punishment. It's about clarity. And in that clarity, you gain power, freedom, and insight into your own worth. Ladies, don't fear silence. Embrace it. Because when you go quiet, the truth comes out. And in that truth, you find your freedom.